afternoon. The final hour of the final show for myself, Rick Howe, after 1 o'clock this afternoon, much to Todd Vino's delight. I'll be retiring.
It's not true, Rick.
Well, just
not true at all, bud.
I'm embellishing things.
Of course you are. Being dramatic. Maybe we should get one last argument on the air. What do you think?
I think so. We should, actually, but I'm trying to, keep things light here today.
There you go.
We're going to talk in a moment with a guest who's been a popular guest. In fact, he's recognizable around Atlantic Canada. You mentioned his name, and everybody knows who that is. But first, I want to say hi and good morning or good afternoon now to a close friend, a former co-worker, and a fellow who's was a pretty good ball player. In fact, I'll tell a quick story here. It's between him and I think Glennie Langell. The two of them had applied for a job at CJCH, and I was the news supervisor. So the news director said, Rick, you decide between these two. So I interviewed the two of them. And Doug had mentioned that he was up in Amherst at CKDH at the time, that he was a pretty good baseball player. He had a good first baseman and had some power. And I said, Doug, you're hired. So Glennie's now learning the truth about why she didn't get that job, but she's done quite well for herself. Thank you very much. But Doug Reynolds, and he had many years as the voice of the mornings on CJCH, and was the first morning voice here on News 95.7 as well. How you doing, Douglas?
I'm doing well. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right, thanks very much. Counting down the minutes here, the final hour, the final show. Looking forward to retirement. I'm going to miss this. I really am, and I got to be honest here. I'm going to miss this for a while, but time goes by, and I'm looking forward to what lies ahead, sir.
What kind of shirt are you on?
I didn't wear my Hawaiian shirt today. I wore my fall plaid. I wore my fall plaid in honor of the upcoming. It feels like fall now, for crying out loud. We had a pretty crappy summer, I thought, but anyway.
Yeah. What about the hat?
I got a ball hat on, yes, and I got my sunglasses here. They don't have them on right now because they're not great reading glasses. But so I've got 2/3 of 2/3 of what you expect from me. But my wife said the same thing. Where's your Hawaiian shirt here or shirts? And I almost wore that Expos one. It's got pink flamingos and Montreal Expos or Montreal Canadiens insignia. I almost wore that, but no. I stuck with the fall fashion here because I'm a fashion plate, right, Todd?
Oh, yeah, you're fashion.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So, Douglas, you're doing well?
Yes, very well.
Good.
Yes.
Good
to be home. And, yeah. And I'm, you know what? You made me a better broadcaster for sure.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You hear that, Todd? I've been called sweet. I've been called
I know,
kind.
it's getting a little much, to be honest with you.
No, but I appreciate it. Doug, and you were a great you were, and again, when I was news director over at CJCH, you were my second-hand man. You did the morning show. You did the assignments. You did a lot. You're a hard worker. You're a dedicated person, and I trusted everything that you said and did. And for that, I thank you because you were my right-hand man, and I couldn't have done it. And we had a pretty good newsroom there back in the day at CJCH, and
absolutely,
we did some great job, and you were an integral part of that. And thank you for that, sir.
Yes, and thank you for that as well.
Not a problem. Anytime. But Doug, I'm going to have to move on to another person who you're familiar with. He's my next guest here, and I want to say, again, we know where you live now, and you know where I am, and so we're going to be in touch, and we're looking forward to you and your wife Anne Cherie coming down for a visit down to the show, and just sitting back and reminiscing about the good old days.
Yep, for sure. Okay, buddy.
All the best.
Yep.
Talk to you soon. Take care. Doug Reynolds, and again, a longtime voice in radio here. Both at News 95.7 and CJCH. Steve Murphy is another, again, veteran of the media business and perhaps the most recognizable news person we have in all of Atlantic Canada. Steve has been a friend of mine since those early days at CFBC. He was 16, going to high school in the daytime and then doing a night shift at CFBC. I was a reporter at the time, and so we spent many a late night at the cafeteria, smoking cigarettes and eating pizza and just chewing the fat. And I've had him as a guest on this program on several occasions, and he's always been kind and courteous and willing to talk and discuss some of the issues facing the media. Steve Murphy, how are you doing, sir? And thank you very much for joining us here this afternoon.
Well, Rick, thanks for all the pizzas you didn't buy back in the CFBC cafeteria.
Hey, I was the veteran at the time. I was 22 whole years old, so I was the veteran. So I had to take advantage of the rookies at the time.
Well, the funny thing is, I was 16. You were 22. I thought you were an old man. And the truth is, if I'd realized then what I realize now, and I see you headed to retirement, and I'm thinking, I guess that means that our time together is coming to an end in this business. But I was saying to Vanessa this morning, it's been a real nostalgic trip listening to you and Todd the last couple hours, and quite a sentimental journey, my friend, because I realized that I've been listening to you for 45 years as well. I didn't always take your advice, but I have been listening to you. I listened to you on the radio before I went to work with you, and of course I've been listening to you ever since. We had the great pleasure of working together at CJCH, and I think I could say, Rick, in all honesty, were it not for you, I might not have come to Halifax. I was a kid and I needed the encouragement, and you, I think, provided the encouragement. And,
we
and you and Yvonne became not only my friends, but mentors and teachers, and you kind of looked after me.
We knew from the start. I knew from the start that you're going to be great, and you are. You don't today hosting the CTV News, but you come through the trenches. You worked the evening shift at CFBC. You came over to CJCH and started doing mornings and commentaries and hosting the hotline, and then TV called, and so you've come a far distance over the years, Steve. As I mentioned, you today are the most recognized, I think, and trusted individual in the news business in Atlantic Canada.
Well, you flatter me greatly, Rick. I'm not sure I deserve most of that, but I will tell you this. I didn't get formal education in journalism or in broadcasting. I came out of high school, took a year off. I'm in the 45th year of my year off. I joke now. But people like Rick Howe and Yvonne Colbert were my teachers. And I couldn't have had better teachers because you, and this is true of Yvonne as well, you're fair-minded. And in a time and an age in our business where fairness is being lost. And by the way, I don't mean you have to agree with somebody all the time. You're the master of disagreeing without being disagreeable. But you're fair and you're fair-minded. And both you and Yvonne have pursued careers in which you've always been advocates for the people you're covering and the people you're reporting to. And I think our business needs that. I think our society needs it. And I'm not here to criticize new media or social media, but I am here to raise the flag proudly for the kind of work you've done in 50 years in business. You have no apologies for the work you've done because it's always been fair. And I think that you are the model to which we all need to continue to aspire. So, again, we're going to miss your voice. We're also going to miss the fairness, the good nature.
Well, listen,
the advocacy.
You're too kind, Steve. You're too kind, and thank you very much. It means a lot to hear that from a professional like yourself. And I'm starting to tear up again here. So,
well, me too, Rick. And I got to tell you that it's been a great ride, and anything that I've been able to accomplish was enabled in great measure by you, particularly in the beginning in that newsroom back in 1976, 77. Eating the pizza and smoking the cigarettes. There was a lot of learning went on there, and I can't possibly thank you for all you did for me, and I'm being your debt, and so will your audience. And you're hearing some of the love here this morning. It's well deserved. And Todd, you got some big sneakers to fill there, buddy.
He's wearing funny looking sneakers today, Steve. I can assure you.
Todd, I want to tell you one quick thing.
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen Rick Howe without a ball cap. I mean this sincerely. You were wearing an old Expos hat the first time I met you. I think you wore that for about the first 10.
Then it kind of wore out.
You had a Halifax City hat, and I think you've been in an HRM hat for the last 25.
That's what he's wearing today.
Wearing that today, proudly. Indeed.
Yeah. Is there only one of those, Rick?
Well, every time one wears down, I get another from a counselor friend. So
he wouldn't pay for it. That's for sure.
Anyway, listen, Murphy. It's again been a pleasure to know you, work with you, and again, thank you for the very kind words, and much appreciated. Thanks very much.
And much respect and affection to Yvonne Colbert, who is, along with Rick Howe, you're two of the finest, and you've been tremendous friends, mentors, and colleagues over the years.
Thanks, Steve. Have a great day, sir. Take care.
All the best.
Bye-bye. Great journalist, Steve Murphy.
Yeah, no, he's the best.
Yep,
look, I think he is the best, most recognizable, most trusted. I think you encapsulated it well.
I think so. 12:16, back with more right after this. Hi, here we are on a Friday afternoon, the final hour of the Rick Howe Show. And then I'm off riding into the sunset. And Todd Vino with me here in the studio this afternoon will be in the chair on Tuesday. So join him, please. And keep on listening and keep on calling. And bug the heck out of him.
Exactly. That's right.
Leah just emailed to say she's listening to the show, wanted to say thanks so much for everything that I did for her during her time here at News 95.7, especially the opportunity to be a regular guest on the Double X Files panel. Leah Batstone's her name. She says, you've given a voice to many and had a big impact in this entire city and province. You'll be sorely missed, and the airwaves won't be the same without you. I wish you all the absolute best in your retirement and hope our paths cross again. Thank you, Leah. And Leah was a producer for Sheldon McLeod.
That's actually a segment I'd like to bring back. The Double X Files.
Yeah, you should. It was great.
Yeah, it was great.
I brought that in to the segment on a show to give women a bit of more of a voice, because we were hearing complaints that mostly men calling in the open hour, and I think that having women speak their mind on issues once a week helped convince other women to start calling into the open hour.
No, I thought it was great, and I think that's something we'll bring back when COVID's over.
One of our favorite historians is standing by. We'll get to him in just a moment. But first, here's a fellow who shares my last name. His name is Steve Howe, and he shares the last name because he's my brother.
Oh, nice.
And he's calling us from London, Ontario. Hey, Stephen, what's going on? What the heck are you calling about?
Oh, I just thought I'd call and wish you the best in your retirement and bring up a few memories of some of the people we crossed. Of course, I followed you into radio. And my first station was CFBC in St. John.
Yep.
And I got to work with like Ingham Palmer and Donnie in the morning.
Yep.
And the guy I worked with in the evening who went by the on-air name Duke Edwards.
Duke Edwards,
is Alex Paler.
Alex Paler, yes, indeed.
Yeah, so you helped me get my start. And actually my very first time ever being on live on a professional radio station was when I was visiting you. I was 19 years old. You were working at in Hamilton, CKMB in Hamilton.
Campbellton,
Disco, Campbellton. It was Disco Jeunesse. That's Rick Howe. And you let me do your newscast that night. I was attending Fanshawe College in London, taking broadcast journalism, and I did my first ever on-air professional newscast on that station with you.
Wow. Yeah, well, there you go. I should tell the story, too. I was working in Newcastle at CFAN and making a grand total of $400 a month. When CFBC calls me up in St. John, where my brother was working, and CFBC says, how would you like a news job? And I said, well, maybe I was a disc jockey at the time, top 40 radio, had lots of fun doing that, but growing a little tired of it. And when I was offered the news job at CFBC, I thought about it and said, sure, how much are you going to pay me? And he said, we're going to pay you $100 more a month than what you're making now. So I said, okay, $400 to $500. I said, fine, I'll take it. I'll see you. So I took the job, got to CFBC. First paycheck was almost twice what I expected. And so I went to the management at the time and I said, I think you overpaid me. And they said, no, that's based on $800 a month. And I said, $800 a month? Okay. And I turn around and I go back and finally learned from Stephen later that CFBC management came to him and said, listen, we're thinking we might want to hire your brother. How much does he make? Stephen says, I think he makes about $700 a month. And they said, so we'll offer you $100 more. I'm thinking $500. They're thinking $800.
Nice.
Great story. Anyway. Stephen, listen, good to hear from you. Now you're planning to visit here soon, so we're looking forward to that, sir.
Yes, we are, and we're looking forward to the trip as well, sometime in early October.
Yep.
And all the best to you, and it's certainly been great having a big brother to look up to and get some tips from in the radio business as well.
All right, buddy. See you in October.
Okay, take care.
All the best. Bye-bye. Another popular guest is joining me on the air right now. We had a bevy of historians that we would call on from time to time. And this was one of, again, sort of a Johnny-come-lately to the show, but a man who proved to be extremely popular with listeners who begged us to bring in more and have him on more time. And so we gave him a regular weekday slot every Thursday. David Jones was his name, to give us a history or an archaeological lesson. David is more of an archaeologist than a historian, but he shares an interest in history. In fact, his father wrote a book about the history of hockey here in Nova Scotia. And I believe your grandfather was also active as well. Is that true, David?
Yeah. Hi, Rick. It's so nice to hear you. And my great uncle John Martin, he was involved. He wrote the story of Dartmouth.
Yep.
And I just followed the footsteps of my family, listening to stories and loving history. And you gave me that platform to talk about it every week, and I'm so grateful.
Well, the popular thing that you provided, David, was your basic, simple explanation of what you brought history into our lives, and you made it so that we could all understand what it is you were talking about. And, you could imagine back in the day, being involved in this or that as you told us story after story, and especially about the history of Dartmouth, because I think that's overshadowed by the history of Halifax. Halifax is, considered, the big brother, I guess, between the two cities here. And Dartmouth often overshadowed. Just ask Gloria McCluskey sometime about Dartmouth, and she'll tell you if you want to hear it. But David brought us, again, the lessons, the history lessons of Dartmouth, and helped us understand as well about how that city grew along with Halifax and became what we are today. And I think people just appreciated hearing many stories, David, that that I, as a history buff and others, had never heard before. And you brought it into our lives, and for that, we thank you very much, sir.
I really appreciate it. And Rick, what's so special to me is we learned from each other. It was a conversation every week. And the theme today, as I listen to the show, so many people are talking about the power of your audience and your listeners. And so we had stuff that kept me on my toes every second. We had people calling in, asking questions. We would figure out things together on air. People would help solve historic mysteries. And it really allowed me to kind of practice my craft, hone it, and explore these different things, not just about Dartmouth, which we know I'm a big Dartmouth homer, just like Gloria, but throughout Nova Scotia, all these little stories from communities all around. And I just love it so much. It's been a highlight of these last few years for me. So thanks so much, Rick.
Well, we could hear the passion in your voice whenever you talk to us, and for that, we very much appreciated you joining us whenever we called, and including that weekly segment on Thursdays. David Jones, I got to run here now. We're running out of time this half hour, but again, let me just say, a heartfelt thank you for your efforts in helping make this show the success that it was.
And that goes right back at you. Thanks so much, Rick, and best of luck with your recovery, and have a great retirement on the beautiful South Shore.
I plan to. Thanks, David. All the best to you and your family. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. David Jones. And again, I appreciated the kind of stories he used to tell us.
Rick, you should be feeling, and I know that you do, but you should feel very lucky today.
Why?
But just because of the magnificent career you've had, the family that you have, the wife that you have, and what you've achieved, you should feel. I know that you do feel very fortunate.
Yeah, I know.
Now.
I truly do.
Yeah.
I never thought of myself as, the star.
No, and that's why you were successful, Rick, because of that humility that comes along with you, right?
I was just a kid who barely finished high school.
Yeah, but you're a down-to-earth guy.
Well, I think that's...
you truly are, and you just... I know that you feel fortunate, but you're a very lucky man, and I know you know that.
Yeah. Alexander just emailed to say, don't your listeners get a vote in this retirement? LOL, he writes. Alexander, no.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's the right time for you, Rick.
It is. Yeah. It is. And again... join us here on Tuesday. Join Todd on Tuesday.
And you got to promise that you'll come on the radio with me sometimes.
Occasionally. I don't mind.
That's a promise?
Yeah, that's a promise.
Okay.
Maybe a call up during an open hour sometime.
Absolutely. Well, no, you won't do that. I'd love to have you on from time to time, Rick. Yeah. People would love it.
No question. Whenever you want, just give me a call.
Absolutely. I've got you don't know your phone number. I asked you your phone number. You don't even know it. So.
I got a new number. I know it's 902 something.
No kidding.
I'll get back to you on that. Okay. All right, coming up to 12:28, we got another half hour to go. And we'll be back with more of your calls and more conversation right after this break. 33 minutes past the hour into the final segment of the final show of the Rick Howe Show. And after 1 o'clock here this afternoon, I will be riding off into the sunset Well, not exactly riding off, but
no, driving off.
Driving off
down into this. It's not sunny. It's cloudy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be sunny. It's on the weekend.
The sun will break through for you, Rick.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully. If there's justice in the world, that'll happen. Yes, indeed. Just before we say hi to our next guest, let's talk to a person who's been a regular listener over the years and a guest from time to time as well. He is Jer Bear Lawrence. Jerry, good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. And how are you, sir?
Doing great. Well, mine's not what it used to be. Last night, I put the cat in the fridge and left the milk out.
Always got the one-liners, Mr. Jer Bear. Always got the one-liners. You're a great man. And
I've been trying for an hour and a half to get a hold of you, and Patty is in the car here, and he finally got through, and I'm glad he did. I just want to say something to you and Yvonne, and thank you so much for all you did for broadcasting. I mean, the stuff you did was over the top all the time. I always enjoyed working with you, even through the snowstorms.
Yeah.
One little thing that used to bother me a little bit is when I used to walk down the hall and you used to stick your foot out, and I'd go flying on the crutches and that, and people that would laugh about it, but it was quite a...
Yeah, no, don't blame that on me. You used to do that on purpose. This was Jer Bear Lawrence. Somebody new came to the radio station over at CJCH. Jer Bear, of course, was on crutches. He's currently in a wheelchair, but was on crutches. And he would walk to introduce to the new guy, and he would fall to the ground and accuse the new guy of pushing him or tripping him or something like that. And the new guy would be horrified, of course. And Jer Bear is having this big chuckle himself there. You're evil, Jer Bear.
I can't believe you do that, Rick, to somebody.
And it was fun.
Listen, you're a great guy, a great broadcaster, and I wish you and Yvonne all the best. And you're down the shore, I hear.
Down the shore, yes. Anytime you're down in the shore, look us up there, Mr. Bear.
God, you're going to pick up that accent, and the people will know who the hell you are. Hi, I'm Rick Howe. Anyway, look, thanks a lot for all you've done, and you're a treasure, really, honest to God.
I appreciate that, Jerry, and take good care of yourself and your wonderful wife, Sheila, and thank you for being you over the years. Appreciate that very much. Have a great day.
Wonderful wife, Sheila. Where did you get that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I get the wrong name?
No, that's her.
That's her.
Always a joker. Always a joker, this guy, right? Nice one.
Jer
Anyway,
Bear.
all the best to you. And the next time we're down the show, we'll stop in and see you.
Looking forward to it, bud. Take care. All the best. Jer Bear Lawrence.
Got you one last time.
He got me one last time.
He did.
Hey, Parker, what's going on?
Oh, I'm so teary-eyed listening to the sob stories of how wonderful you are. I have another story.
You couldn't wait till I got here. You took off at 10 to 9 or something like that, over God-fair hours you guys have. Couldn't wait 10 minutes till I got here.
Well, okay, first of all, I've known you 30 years this year.
30 years, wow.
91, I came here as a rookie reporter at MITV, and I'm in a scrum. Don't know anybody in this city. And all of a sudden, my head yanks back. And someone's pulling on my ponytail in a scrum with the police chief. And there was Rick Howe pulling on my ponytail.
Those were the days you could do something like that.
Boy, the stories are really coming out now, Rick.
I tried that today.
I turned around and I said, "You're an idiot. What are you doing?" Well, we became friends. And then in 2000, I was moving back to Halifax, and I was pregnant, and I called up Rick, and I said, "Listen, I just need a gig for a few months until I pop. Do you have anything?" He goes, "I got summer relief." So I took it. And you know what, Rick? If it wasn't for you giving me that job, I wouldn't be where I am today.
Sorry, people, about that, by the way.
Yeah, all the people listeners. You dragged into broadcasting, right?
Yeah.
I work just across the hall, and you were the first face that I saw every morning for 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow, that's not a good story to tell.
No, but it's kind of tough. I'm not gonna see your face anymore. And Todd, if you want to follow in his shoes, Rick brought me in a coffee and a muffin every morning.
He did not.
No,
I don't believe that. Rick, wow, one of the cheapest people I've ever met in my life. Come on now.
Caroline, listen, good to hear from you. And again, good to know you, good to work with you. And thanks
I love you, Rick. I love you so much for giving me the opportunity. You are amazing. You and Yvonne, I want you to sit on that patio and watch the sunrise and sunset all the time, eh?
Count on it. Count on it. Thanks, Caroline. Good to hear from you. All the best.
Love you.
Take care. Caroline Parker, you can hear each morning on Jack 92.9. Cecil Wright, how are you, sir?
This is a tough day for me, buddy. How long have we been doing this little thing?
We've been doing this a long, long time, Cecil Wright. A long, long time. Had some great discussions over the. Oh, by the way, how did my Montreal Canadiens do this year? Oh, they made it to the Stanley Cup final. Where did your boss go? Oh, they lost to the New York Islanders. Had to get that off my chest. Had to get that off my chest.
Just for that, how about those 1994 Montreal Expos?
Yeah, the team that should have won the World Series.
How about my Yankees, Cecil?
What about your Yankees?
Yeah.
Who cares about your Yankees?
What about the Yankees? Who cares about the Yankees? The bloody Yankees. Wow.
So how you been, Mr. Wright? Good to hear from you again.
I've been really, really good, Rick. And, all kidding aside, I think you know how much I care for you and Yvonne. I'm just so glad, number one, that your health is returning to normal and, you're able to do the things that you want to do. And I couldn't be happier for you in retirement because I know you're going to sit back, put your feet up, and watch the Red Sox beat the Yankees when it matters.
Oh, boy.
I do try to watch some baseball, though, the Jays, who aren't doing anything, you're 5 games behind your Red Sox, Cecil, for the last wild card spot. The Jays have a pretty nice, good young team, and I think for the coming years they're going to be pretty good. But I try to watch the Red Sox as well whenever you can, and the Red Sox got a good team as well. But I think those Yankees and Tampa Bay of all the teams now leading right now in the American League. I'm just looking for Jim Prime. You know Jim Prime, right? He just he just said the Tampa Bay Rays have just announced their franchise will be moving to Montreal effective immediately. I read that. I said, whoa. But then he says immediately in recognition of Rick Howe's retirement. Yeah, so thanks, Jim, for giving me a momentary fleeting hope there. And he says, we're hoping now that Mr. Howe will now be free to don the Yuppie costume, says a high-placed Rays executive. And good to hear from Jim. Yeah.
Jim knows his baseball, let me tell you. I don't think there's a more noted baseball author in North America, not just Canada, but he and Bill Nallon, for instance, have done some great Red Sox books. But back to you, I have to thank you so much for even asking me to come on and talk sports with you. And it kind of turned into more of a comedy show than a sports show sometimes. But I have to thank Katie Hartai and especially Jen Casey, the late, great Jen Casey, who were always so nice to me and, called me on time. And, without those guys, I don't know how you guys are able to do what you do.
Now, truly, the producers we've had over the years have been excellent, co-workers and have had a real zeal for the job. You mentioned Jen Casey was my very first producer here. After Deborah Smith and Amber LeBlanc were producing over at CJCH and did a great job there too. And Deb, of course, now hosting a morning show here in Halifax on The Breeze. And Amber Cecil has come a long way. She's now the news director at 680, isn't it? That's our Toronto station?
680, yeah.
680 News in Toronto. She's the news director
Wow.
and a part of the senior management team now at Rogers. And so she's come a long way. But, Jen Casey, and God love her, Jen helped us develop the afternoon show, which was our first, foray into talk here on Rogers. Jen, I can't say enough about what a lovely person that she was, and what a dedicated person she was. But after Jen, there was Melissa Mancini, Nicole Nasdowski, and of course Katie Hartai, and they've all been again exceptional. Michelle McNeil, I believe, who's now communication director with Neptune. And there's another one, I can't remember her name right now. But anyway, the producers have been absolutely fantastic. And you're right, Cecil, we couldn't do the job without them.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. And I also have to give you props for one more thing, and that is you used to always give me a second at the end of our little back and forth banter to say what I was up to on the coming weekend, knowing full well that meant I was going to be doing some sports with Eastlink.
Yep.
You allowed me to say that, where some other stations wouldn't be happy that I would mention, another organization, but you encouraged me to do that, and I have to thank you so much for it, and I know that everybody at Eastlink will echo my sentiment when I say the following. You got to come back and do a second Cecil Wright episode. Everybody wants to see you again.
No problem. Count on it, Cecil. I love to be, again, a guest of yours on the show. We had a great discussion. How many years ago was that when we were on?
That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years ago. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that someday. And perhaps after my new book comes out, we'll promote that, of course. Not that I'm looking for a free plug, mind you, but
might as well.
A little shameless self-promotion there.
Something like that. But we had some great discussions, and I look forward to doing it again anytime. So you just let me know, and I will be there with bells on.
Well, you got my number. I don't have yours because I've been listening to you all morning.
Yeah,
you don't even know your new number.
No,
what the hell is up with that?
It's 902 something.
Yeah. He says that to people he doesn't want them to have the number, including me.
Exactly. He's not fooling me.
That's right.
Anyway, see, so we've had some great conversations over the many, many years on the show and on CJCH as well. And I want to thank you. And again, you have volunteered your time, gone out of your way to accommodate me. And not only of our Friday segment, but we've had discussions, on any given weekday about, breaking sporting news, for example. And you are always available, Cecil, more than willing and anxious to discuss sports. And for that, I thank you very, very much, sir.
Well, it's been my pleasure. And my last comment will be this. It is only fitting and appropriate that Larry Walker is going into the Hall of Fame the same year that Rick Howe retires.
Attaboy. Cecil, again, thank you very much, and we'll be in touch, sir.
All right, love you, buddy.
Go Habs, go.
Not a chance.
Thanks, buddy. Take care. Cecil Wright. And you continue to talk to Cecil.
Yeah, he'll be on every Friday.
Yeah, he's a great analyst.
And a good guy. He's a good Haligonian, good local guy, for sure.
Knows his sports.
He knows his sports really well.
And knows local sports, too.
He does,
Again, through Eastlink and senior baseball and the Mooseheads and some of the... the Atlantic University sport is back in the fall, by the way. Football.
He's a wealth of knowledge.
Soccer.
Really good guy.
He truly is.
Yeah.
12:45. Back with more right after this. Into the home stretch. The final show for the Rick Howe Show. After 1 o'clock here this afternoon, I shall be just a distant memory, Todd. Just a distant memory.
Oh, you won't be just a distant memory, Rick. Come on. Don't downplay it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But my intention is to just, retire, relax.
Yeah. Might I say, just before while I get a chance here, because I probably won't get a chance here, what a privilege it's been, Rick, to work with you. I'd say that personally. You and I have had a lot of great times.
Yep.
I consider you a good friend, and it is a true privilege to have sat in for you all this time. And it's just an absolute honor. I've had an opportunity to work with two icons in talk show, Tom Young being one of them, of course, and yourself. And I would only be, as any level of success that I've achieved would not have been able without working with people like you and Tom. So thank you for that, Rick.
I appreciate that. And
I mean that.
And again, now you're in a position now where you're the host.
I'm in a top position because I got to try and fill this void, which is going to be difficult, but it's how it goes, right?
But you just got to remember one thing, Todd, that the purpose of this show is mostly to give people a voice.
Absolutely.
People who don't have a voice have a voice on our radio station during this hour, during the show. And I think that's, again, something to always keep in the back of your mind. Let's go to the phones. You get time for a couple more calls. Melanie, hello.
Hello, Rick. How are you?
I am well, and how are you, Melanie?
Well, just surviving clown world. What can I tell you? Anyway, I am going to be so sorry to see you go, but I certainly am respectful of your decision to leave. You're a great guy. I may not always agree with you, but you're a very good person. You're going to be missed. You certainly were loved. And I remember all of our conversations regarding the marijuana issues over the last, it's been almost 20 years.
I know.
So. And anyway, you will be missed. You're going to be in my thoughts and prayers, and I know you and your lovely wife and your whole family is just going to have a wonderful time.
Well, I thank you, Melanie, for those kind words, and thank you for being a guest whenever I have asked. You are always easy to get a hold of and more than willing to come on the air and to discuss, especially the marijuana question. And we had some great debates over the years about that.
We did. So you are missed. Would do me a favor, Rick?
What's
that? I used to love that. Yeehaw, it's Friday. Could you just give me that? I mean, hopefully you'll do it at the end, too. Maybe we should do that right now, and I'll hang up.
All right. It's Friday. Yeehaw. There you go.
Perfect.
Thanks, Melanie. All the best.
You.
Take care.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye. What's that, Todd?
No, we absolutely yeehaw. We missed that.
It is. It's a Friday.
I'm surprised you didn't say that today.
Well, I never even thought of it, really. Again, you've been away from this for a while, right? But yeah, it was always, I thought, Friday a good day to say yeehaw because the weekend ahead. The week behind us. And Dave Wilson is another fellow who is, we know quite well, David, and he's up there in the Cape Breton Regional Municipality, or Sydney, where he's still working in radio up there, David?
Talk show icon?
Oh, of course. I'm told I'm kind.
Talk show icon?
I'm told I'm kind and sweet here today. People very...
The year was 1977. The place was St. John, New Brunswick.
Yeah.
The debt after 44 years is still not paid.
What debt?
One case of Keith's beer.
What for? Why do I owe you a Keith's beer case?
Because we lived in the same apartment building, and you borrowed a case of Keith's beer from me one night, and I haven't seen it since.
Oh, okay. Well, I probably enjoyed it.
You probably did. I could not pass by the opportunity to say congratulations. I hope you enjoy retirement to the best you possibly can.
Well, I thank you very much for that, David. And you and I go back a long time. I remember us standing side by side during the jail fire in St. John that saw 20-some-odd people killed that night.
Wow.
And again, that was, I call it a highlight of my career, but it wasn't really a highlight. It was, just one of those things that...
it was a hell of a way to break in as a rookie reporter for ATV for me. And the best part, remember, was that Murphy wasn't allowed in the taverns because he wasn't old enough.
we would have meetings at the press club about Murphy's being 16 and couldn't come. Yeah. We're calling a news meeting, Murph, but you can't come because we're having it at the press club. Poor Steve, he's done quite well for himself, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, he's okay. Well, I hung up the microphone myself in February and retired from radio because I figured I've done enough in radio, and it was a great career. You, my friend, have had a tremendous career. Wish you all the best.
I appreciate that. Good to hear from you, David. And if you're ever down in the shore, just look us up, please.
Certainly will. Maybe I might have a Keith's beer or two.
Maybe so. Thanks, David. Good to hear from you.
All right, Rick, take care.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, 12:52 is our time. We're kind of wrapping things up here right now. And I want to say a special thank you to I'm starting to get emotional here.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
It's my wife, Yvonne Colbert. Hi, Yvonne. Hello, Yvonne.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, sweetheart. I'm doing fine. I think a little bit better than you. It's been an absolute pleasure to listen to the show this morning and hear the esteem with which you're held by so many people.
Yeah,
you're very deserving of it.
It's very heartwarming as well. I want to take this opportunity to thank you personally for standing by me through thick and thin, through good times and bad. And you have always been there. You've been my rock. And thank you.
Well, you don't have to thank me. I mean, that's what I do. I'm your wife. And, I sort of wanted to tell people a few things about you that they may not know, but since we're on this topic, I have to tell you, you have faced this life-threatening health situation with grace and determination, and you have been my inspiration throughout the last 18 months. It's been really amazing, and I'm, when I get down, you lift me up, and you truly are a wonderful man.
Well, thank you. We've been together since 1979. And again, a media couple in a business that hasn't been easy on relationships. But again, we have stood by each other through thick and thin, through good and bad. And again, I don't know that I could have survived this without you being there. And again, words can't describe how much I love you.
I love you too, and I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere.
All right, well, I got to say goodbye here. And
you're not going to let me tell people about you?
Tell them one thing. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, people ask about your baseball cap. One of the most common questions I get is, does Rick take his baseball cap off at night? So I will disclose, yes, he does, but he hangs it on the bedpost. And very quickly, I know you're running out of time, everybody knows you love your work. All anybody has to do is listen to you to know that. But here's one thing that they don't know. When you were in the hospital, when you were drugged, you had no idea what was going on around you or who you were or anything like that. You were doing the talk show and interviewing people out loud. And the guy in the bed next to you every morning would say, "Gee, Rick, I love listening to the show last night."
Yeah.
And one morning you were like, "What show?" And he said, "Well, you were doing it in your sleep." So
That's
that
right.
is Rick Howe from the Rick Howe Show. I love you.
I love you too. And as I left the hospital, that finally after 23 days, buddy in the bed beside me said, "Going to miss your shows." And that's when he revealed that most nights I would be actually doing the show. He would hear my voice interviewing people, not getting the questions answered, but interviewing people and talking about the issues. And good drugs, I guess, is.
Well, it says a lot about you and your career and your dedication to it.
I appreciate that, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you, love.
Love you, sweetheart.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. That's Yvonne Colbert, of course. Not a lot of people knew that we were married, but we've had a relationship together since, again, 1979. Don't have a lot of time left, but I was waiting for this guy to call. Bill Mott, good morning. Or afternoon. How are you?
Listen, Rick, I gotta say good words. I mean, we didn't always agree on things, but I'm one of your longest listeners, I guess.
You are.
Certainly you hung in there. I think the thing that's what's very much out here, Rick, is therapy. Therapy. This is a big thing. Not just me, but I'm sure many, many more that have had problems and wanted to get them out there and felt better afterwards. And you hung in there through thick and thin, and I wish you well, Rick.
I appreciate
really
that.
do.
Bill, and I'd love to talk to you for a whole lot longer, but I'm plumb out of time. But I do appreciate hearing from you, and you've been, again, a faithful listener and a caller to the show all over the years at CJ and here at News 95.7. And indeed helped organize a community rally when the show was in danger of being canceled at CJCH. And you helped rally the community and convince management to continue with the show. So for that, again, thank you very much. And Bill, I do got to run. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bud. Take care. And that brings us to an end here. The final show of the Rick Howe Show. The day is done. The week is done. The year is done. The career is done. I'm going to, again, enjoy retirement. I'm looking forward to many days ahead and experimenting with different things, writing, traveling a bit around this province, seeing what a great province we have. But I want to take this last opportunity, first off, to thank you, Todd. Again, you've done a remarkable job co-hosting the show while I was away. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rick.
Much appreciated.
It's a privilege.
I want to thank Dan Alstrand here as well, who is the news director at News 95.7, and thank Rogers, the company we work for. Rogers has been a very great company for me, and I appreciate everything that they have done for me and giving me this opportunity to get behind the mic and, give me freewheeling as to what I wanted to talk about, and I appreciate that all. But most of all, I want to thank each and every one of you, those of you who have been regular callers, those of you who call in every now and again, those of you who don't call but just listen. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. You will be with me forever. It will be something that I will never, ever, ever, ever forget. I may be ending my career in radio, but it's always going to be something that will be part of my life. And so I just want to say, Nova Scotia, thank you. And if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention.